Hi everyone, welcome to Let's Celebrate TV Live. I'm your host, Peter Lee. With me today in the command chair, as always, is the executive producer, the cameraman, the tech guy, the director, and my husband, all wrapped up in one person, Phil Gordimer.
And good afternoon, good morning, good evening to YouTube and to Facebook. Today we are publishing live on YouTube and on Facebook. I may or may not be able to get the comments direct in from Facebook today. We're just working on the first part. But we are transmitting to both. Though we do have about 20 comments that were already sent in ahead of time from Facebook. So we'll see how, well, there's actually 2 people watching this on Facebook too.
Awesome,
so
awesome.
I guess it was worth it.
All right. Today, we're having, what do we call this? An apple bourbon Manhattan. Of course, I overfilled it, so it didn't get shaken very much, but you'll have to bear with me, dear.
I'd like a pink lady apple in that, please.
You have whatever apple I cut already in it. I think it was one of the galas. But I suppose for my bear.
All right, since I have 2 extra laptops over here, I can't, I'm stressed in.
I'll bring it to you,
Meanwhile,
dear.
let's tell everybody. Again, welcome to the live stream. Tell us in chat where you're watching from so we can get enough people to put it up on the map. And tell us what you cook with apples and not just desserts.
Excuse me, Maxwell the kitten. Here you go, dear. Let me put it down. All right. Got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Good boy, Max.
As he disappears. So let's go back there.
And he reappears. Let me clean up the deck here. All right, so welcome. Cheers. That's quite nice.
This apple bourbon is interesting.
Yeah.
It's a little sweet, but it's not bad.
Well, that's why I like the cinnamon version of it. That does not use Fireball. All right, so today's conversation, topic, everything is all about apples. Before I begin, and I get interrupted, dear, do you have anything else to share?
Not yet.
Okay.
I want to keep track of all these extra screens here.
All right.
We've got quite a few people in already on...
Good. Let me get my notes. I'm actually prepared this week. We had extra time because we didn't have to rush home from camp, so I got to do an outline, and I've got 2 pages, so buckle up. All right, so all about apples today. Now, it's fall, finally. It's autumn, summer is over, the cooler weather is here. Hooray! I know you summer lovers out there are throwing hate at me right now, but that's okay. So this is apple season. Most varieties of apples are picked right now. There are some that came in earlier, but a lot of them that we have here in this area anyway come in this time of year. And apple is a prevalent flavoring this time of year. So let's talk about a little history of apples. They've been around for a long time, thousands of years, as a matter of fact. They were the original apple tree, Malus domestica. That's a mouthful. They're cultivated worldwide, but they come from Central Asia, and that type of tree still exists today in Central Asia. So they have a lot of religious and mythological connotations, significance in many cultures, including the Norse mythology, Greek, and European Christian traditions. Apples were introduced into this country by European colonists. Of course, you probably knew that. But here's a little trivia. A little bit of trivia. I got lots of little trivia bits today, too. Though forbidden fruit of Eden in the book of Genesis is not identified, popular Christian tradition has held that it was an apple that Eve coaxed Adam to share with her. And that's because apples predate Christianity. I think I read where they found some remains of apple trees and carbon dated it to like 4000 BCE. So that's the oldest that they've found, and I'm sure it's even older than that. So that was kind of fascinating. But apples are a huge, huge part. Janice R., I love cold autumn days with warm apple cider. Well, me too. Me too. But apples are a huge, huge part of our culture too. You probably don't even realize that they're just so ingrained in our lexicon, in our heads. Of course, we all know, or hopefully we know, about the legend of Johnny Appleseed. Now, Johnny Appleseed is more than a little Disney cartoon. Johnny Appleseed was a real person, and he lived from around 1774 to 1845. And he introduced apples to large parts of Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, present-day Ontario, as well as the northern counties of present-day West Virginia. So he got all over. Now, I was reading up about him, and he was an early conservationalist. He didn't believe in like crossbreeding apples to get a different type or doing that type of thing. He wanted them all to be wild. But he didn't do everything good. He was responsible for introducing some plants in areas that he never should have. There's a plant called, I think it was called dog fennel, and it's a very invasive weed. But in the 1700s or early 1800s, they thought it had medicinal properties, so he was planting that in a lot of places. And now it's this very invasive thing. Of course, we know better in these days to not do that, not just
All right, let's check
send
in with
plants
some
everywhere.
of our Facebook people.
Hi, Lance. And Ken, I'm sure, is watching. Valley of the Sun, Phoenix, Arizona. Fall has arrived, the monsoon season is over, and most of the 100-degree days. Very good, Hank. I'm glad. I am very glad that it's very good, and I make a cinnamon version, and I like that one even better.
And the copy of the recipe is in the show notes. I'm ahead today.
Yeah, since we always say, oh yeah, we'll put it in the notes, and then we forget. Hey, Ted. Hope you and Jerry are well. Thanks for joining.
And I saw that Tim was doing apple butter here on
yes,
Facebook.
Yes, I saw that too. Excellent, Tim. I have some apple butter back there. Yeah, warm spice applesauce, absolutely. So, you know, apples, still going on the culture thing, they're everywhere. They've even been immortalized in songs. Probably the best well-known is the Dinah Shore hit from the 1940s. That was a song about actually Pennsylvania Dutch cooking, and the song's called Shoe Fly Pie and Apple Pan Dowdy. Because nothing makes my tummy say howdy or something, or the lyrics. If we were probably more clever, we probably could have played a clip for it, but oh well, maybe next time. And of course, what else is American, more American than apple pie? Anything? You look lost or...
No, I'm just trying to keep up with this 2 extra screens.
Yeah.
And again, if you're watching, let us know where you're from, whether you're on Facebook or you're on YouTube,
okay,
and we'll get you up on the map.
Okay, you forgot to put yourself on camera.
Well, let's try that again then.
Yes.
Okay. Welcome to the live stream. Let us know where you're watching from, even if it's on Facebook or on YouTube, and we'll get it up on the map later. Okay.
All right, clearly I'm going to have to keep you honest today.
I got too many keyboards here.
I really splashed myself. I didn't realize that. Oh well. Oh well. So let's talk a little more about apples, and then we'll get to cooking. I am going to cook today, so don't worry. Let's talk about the diversity of apples. Bethany, I love apples. I'm tired of apple pie. What else can I do? We're going to talk about that. I have a few sets of apples here, but did you know, not a little trivia bit, can you guess, without Googling it, how many varieties of apples that are out there being cultivated or exist? You would probably not guess there's 7,500 different types of apples. And some of them are being cultivated just for eating, some are being cultivated just for cooking, and some are just for cider production, which is kind of interesting. But I'd love to explore some of those. I know they come in all kinds of colors and slightly different flavors. I have here a couple different types of apples. Now, you all recognize the Granny Smith, the old green apple. And we have Red Delicious. These were the common apples when I was growing up. We didn't have all these fancier. Yeah, Golden Delicious, Granny Smith, or Red Delicious. That was about it. But today I have here, these are some pink ladies. Sometimes when you cut into them, they have a little pink hue to them. This one didn't that I cut. And then I have these sweet little gala apples, and you see how much smaller they are. And this one still has the branch on it, the twig, but yeah, these are very sweet. I really like these. Phil likes the pink ladies, but I like them all. Apples are one of my favorite things. But these are just 4 of the varieties that I was able to get in my local supermarket. They had a ton more. We could have spent a lot of money, but there was a practical limit of how many apples we were going to buy and use. What is your favorite apple? Lance asks. Probably, well, actually every apple. But I'm an old-fashioned Red Delicious. I will just eat, I can eat a whole bag, but really any apple. I'm not too keen on the Golden Delicious. I don't know why. They probably taste the same, but when I've had them, meh, I'd rather have red apples. So, okay, a little more about apples. Did you know, here's more trivia, China is the world's largest producer of apples. They produce 46 million tons every year, and that is followed by the US and Turkey, who are tied at a mere 4.5 million tons of production a year. So I don't know why China produces so much. You don't think of apples when you think of Chinese cuisine, but who knows? At least I don't. Let's do a little cooking. I'm going to attempt a little fancy plating today. I have some stuff here. We're going to be doing a Waldorf salad. I've already made the Waldorf salad so it could sit and set up. And I'm going to attempt a plating for you because we did, the live stream a few weeks ago, it was about three times ago, on fancy plating. So in the middle of the night, I woke up and I thought, oh, I know how to do that because that's when I have my best ideas. Let's start with the dressing. I want to make a little extra. Very simple. Look away, Lance and Ken. Starts with mayonnaise. And I'm not going to measure this. I'm just going to, that much. Looks good. If I need to add more, I will. I'm going to put in a little splash of apple cider just to reinforce that apple flavor. And of course, thin out the mayonnaise and really just not even that much. That's probably too much. And a little squeeze of lemon. That's just going to add a little brightness to it. Maybe.
Okay, Artie says, I know apples and pork go together, but what other main dish?
Well, we can talk about lots of apple food because, yeah, you always think apple and pork. But apple pairs really well with poultry, too. A little bit of pepper. That mayonnaise is salty, so we're just going to whisk this up till it comes together. Very good. And we get it smooth.
Oh, this is kind of cool.
What? Helen J, we use a lot of apples in our salad. Our favorite is beet and apple salad. That sounds really good. And that's the thing about apples. When you start thinking about it, how many times do you, like what else can you pair it with? What can you put it with? There's probably more than you think out there. Like you throw it in a salad, you get that little crunchy sweetness. All right, that looks pretty good. So let's get to do some plating. I have my ring mold here, right in the center. What I'm going to attempt to do is make a little border of cucumbers, because why not? Nothing says you can't have cucumbers. And I just slice them very thinly on my mandolin. And I'm just going to line, hopefully they will cooperate, line this ring mold with some half moons of cucumber. All right, what else we got while I do this?
A little meticulous.
Yeah, a little more meticulous than I anticipated. I'm actually almost done.
Jamie says, apple cinnamon is my favorite flavor combination. I like her emojis. Looks like she's got an apple and a croissant there.
Yeah. I had an aunt who loved everything apple cinnamon.
Well, that's good because, you know, since we're doing apple cinnamon, we can deflect everybody who's doing pumpkin spice.
Now.
No,
Don't
what?
hate on the pumpkin spice.
Pumpkin spice needs to die.
Shush.
Sorry, Starbucks.
All right, so I have today, you know, the traditional Waldorf salad is apples and celery, walnuts, sometimes grapes in dressing like this. I added some roasted chicken to it because I wanted to beef it up. Another spoon. Now, hopefully, I will be able to pack this in and not knock down the cucumbers, and then it will all stay together for me if I've led a good life.
We're taking side bets, starting at 20 bucks.
Thank you for your vote of confidence, dear.
I get to eat it even if it falls, so what's the difference?
It will taste good even if it falls. Let's really pack this in. All right. Now,
Mary says she prefers apple over pumpkin pie at Thanksgiving.
a lot of people do. Your mother used to. All right, here we go.
Hold on. There we go.
All right. Hopefully we've led a good life. Come on, my petite.
Did you grease it?
Shh, no.
There we go.
Look at that. It worked.
And you have an audience
Maxwell.
down there.
I know, Mr. Maxwell. And now we'll just kind of do some around the plate like that. There we have it. Pretty presentation. Yes, Max.
You could put some slice of
Maxwell the
apples
kitten.
around the side too.
I could, but I'm not.
Ooh, Hank's got an interesting one here.
Do you want this to snack on while we do this?
I
Or?
could. Hank's got an interesting one.
Okay.
I would never have thought of this.
Applesauce and cayenne pepper. Okay, sure. Spicy and sweet. Why not? I mean, cinnamon is spicy, right? And we put apples and cinnamon all together. all the
See,
time.
Lance agrees with me.
Now, I like pumpkin spice, some things. Don't be hating on the pumpkin spice
And so
lovers.
does Tim. Says he agrees with me. Pumpkin spice belongs in pumpkin pie and scones, and pumpkin cookies and pumpkin bread.
Yes, and scones. Thank you for that, Tim. Like our pumpkin pie spice scones we just did. All right, shall I bring this over to you, dear?
Sure,
Entertain
why
the
not?
masses for a moment while I...
Oh. Oops, hold on.
Uh-oh, what did you
Here's
do?
a good one from Bob. I wonder if this is our Bob.
This is the best time of year to include apples on my cheese board. Absolutely. And that's what's going to happen to some of these apples. They're going to be on our cheese board later before dinner. Yes, excuse me, Mr. Max. Max wants attention, dear. Here you go. Got it? Here's a nappy.
See, I really did get it. I get to eat.
Good
Yay.
boy, Max.
Now, the reality is, like, with 3 laptops and 3 monitors and 2 cocktails and soda, I have no idea where I'm going to put this.
2 cocktails? When did you get a second cocktail?
Well, I have one over here working with ice.
Yeah. Welcome to my world. So that was a quick little thing. Waldorf salad is a classic thing, a classic salad. Probably fallen out of favor. My mother used to do this really great, delicious, I know some of you are going to gag at it, but she did a gelatin version of it, kind of like an aspic, and she used apple jello for it. And, you know, as kids, we got all the apples and fruit and nuts in it, and in jello. It was fun in the summertime. So you'd have the sweet with the savory dressing like that. It was interesting. I've made it as an adult a few times when I still had access to my mother's Tupperware jello molds, but I don't have that anymore. Ah, that's good.
All right, so from what I can see, Facebook is working.
Okay, very good.
I'm not seeing any comments in there, but there are 4 viewers, which
From Facebook.
from Facebook.
Okay, I'll
so
take
we
it.
still have a bunch of our pre-made comments from people that sent them in. But I'm watching it, and I think I can cut and paste it in.
Do we have the map working today, or is that not going to work?
The map
with
is
Facebook?
working.
Okay, just wondering who all is here.
All right, so let's see
That's
who's
our
here.
usuals. We know Ted and Jerry and Lance
So
and Ken.
let's see here. Let me zoom this in a little bit. I don't think we have anybody. Oops. Come on. There we go.
There we go.
All right, so let's see who we got here. We have got, well, we got us, obviously, the hosts. And then we have Rachel is eating an apple from Elkhart, Indiana.
Awesome.
We've got Charlie from Wilton Manors.
Yes, Max.
Hold on, I gotta get all these in order.
Well, we have our New York contingent.
We've got Tarrytown, New York. We've got Cape May, New Jersey.
Yeah, it is.
We've got
still-
Hank in Phoenix. Don't know why he does not like Hank. It's when he types Phoenix, Arizona out. Tim is from Harleysville, Pennsylvania. That one worked. Let's see who else we've got here.
Oh,
We've got Valerie from Morristown, New Jersey. Looks like it's Jersey contingent week. Oh, here we go. Amy's back from Toronto.
okay. And we have Lance and Ken from Long Island and Ted and Jerry from Manhattan.
Oh, let's see. Looks like that is it.
Okay, that's a pretty good crowd.
Yeah, not bad. Clear the map. Go back to you.
Hey, back to me, Bob.
Back to you. Wait, I got to eat.
Okay, go ahead and eat. Can I continue to
Yes,
rattle
dear.
on all about apples? Mm-hmm. Okay. So you heard the oven beep. I'm keeping something warm, and the timer ran out, so I can sit in there and stay warm. So where are we? Okay, so let's talk about nutritional value of apples. You've all heard the proverb, an apple a day keeps the doctor away, right? We've all heard that. We grew up hearing that. But how true is that? Not so much. So it turns out it's been traced to the 19th century Wales, where the original phrase was, eat an apple on going to bed and you'll keep the doctor from earning his bread. In the 19th century and early 20th centuries, the phrase evolved to an apple a day, no doctor to pay, or an apple a day sends the doctor away. And the phrasing that we use now was first recorded in 1922. And while apples do have a pretty good amount of fiber and there are some vitamins and minerals, they're certainly not the magical cure-all that this proverb or saying has made them out to be. But again, this is another example of how things have crept into our culture, and you just subconsciously, oh yeah, an apple a day, that's healthy, I can eat that every day. And not so much, it turns out.
Let me just interject. Facebook chat is working. I can't pull it
Very
over.
good.
But Dawn Ross, and hopefully George is doing well, from Monroeville, New
Oh, good.
Jersey.
Hi, Dawn, very good. Glad to see you here. Well, I can't see you here, but glad to know you're here.
Wow, at least we know that this Facebook stuff is working.
Yeah.
Now I just have to get the 2 chats to line up and we'll be good.
Okay.
Ooh, Hank's got a good one.
Jello mold salad, yeah. You know, aspics deserve a comeback, and they're starting to have that little bit of comeback. They quite fell out of favor, but in the 50s when they had all these crazy, hard-boiled eggs and olives and oysters suspended in gelatin, that's just wrong. But there are a lot of good applications, and
Now, since we do lots of things with fondue and shrimp, this is kind of fun.
thank you for completely interrupting me.
Yep.
With that. Yeah. So, as I'm supposed to say apparently now, apples are always great for dipping into fondue. That's true, especially a nice cheesy fondue or caramel fondue. Apple cocktails.
And I'll eat more.
Please do. But not too much. Don't spoil your dinner. Maybe we'll skip the apple and cheese tray since you're having that as a very late lunch, even though I fed you lunch.
Well, I'm still
I know, you're still Ozempicing. I know.
Well, it's a little too
Yeah.
cold to do cocktails on the front porch today.
Put on a sweater. Okay, it's a little after 4. Do you want to do your commercial now?
Sure, I will.
Okay.
So, as most of you know, I like to feature a small YouTube cooking channel to help them along. So what I'd like to do today is introduce you to Cooking with Hilda.
Oh.
And Hilda likes to take you to different places all around the world, and she shows food from all around the world, has lots of really good stuff.
Wow.
And she does travel logs in Guatemala and a bunch of locations. Her Instagram page is full of great videos. So Cyprus, Guatemala, Israel, all sorts of things. And for those who like short videos, her videos are only 3 to 4 minutes long, so they're just enough to wet your whistle and help you learn something. So she currently has got 168 videos out, and she's working on just above 2,000 subscribers. So watch a video, subscribe to her channel, tell her in the comments that you heard about it from Let's Celebrate TV, and let's help her get a few more.
Awesome.
All right, back to you.
Speaking of subscribers, what are we up to?
It was a really good number when I looked the other day.
I think it
Hold
was... Oh, I could look on my phone, couldn't I?
5,505.
Yay!
5505.
All right.
And we are
Before we know
looking
it'll be 5555.
at 43,000 views for this month.
Awesome. I'll take it. So we're talking about, someone asked the question, what else can you do besides apple pie, right? Was that the question?
Oh, and Joe Brennan is watching from Exton on Facebook.
Yay! Thank you, Joe and Peggy.
All right, so we're going to have to work on connecting those comments.
Yeah. Yep. So, of course. So, what else can you do with apples? Of course, you can do cocktails. And notice, this is not the vibrant neon green sour apple martini that you make with pucker and vodka. I mean, that's delicious and fun, but I'm working on something a little more sophisticated. And I'm not sure that the apple bourbon is the way to go, but it could be. But you can do almost anything with apples. I put apple in my curry chicken salad. Absolutely, that sounds delicious. Apples and poultry go really well together. One of my cookbooks had over 50 recipes using apples. And that was just one. And if you've been watching these live streams, you know how many cookbooks I have. So it's amazing how versatile and how wide range that they are. Cocktails, soups, salads, main courses, desserts. They can be sweet, they can be savory, ciders, apple juice, applesauce, apple butter. It just goes on and on and on. They're the perfect thing when you're doing a savory dish and you want to add maybe a little sweetness. Chop up an apple. Peel on or peel off, doesn't matter. You finished with that? Mm-hmm. Okay. Did it pass muster?
Oh, I've got a kitty cat ball under here.
Yeah. I guess it passed muster.
Yes.
Okay, but he needs to save room for dinner. Anyway, where are we going? Yeah, I got distracted because he stopped eating. So someone was asking, what else can you do? I have been looking at recipes. When we were doing the research for this live stream, it was overwhelming, the two of us. It was like, oh my God, did you see this? Did you see that? I can't believe it. Just page after page of recipes, ideas, history, etc.
Here's someone close to my heart.
What's that? Rachel, my husband makes a killer apple sangria. Refreshing. That's nice. Yeah. We did sangria a couple of years ago. It did very well.
A white sangria.
Yeah. Was it?
Yep.
That's unusual for me to do white wine. Okay. Oh, that's right. It was a summer sangria. Yeah.
We shot it at camp, actually.
Maybe we need to do a fall apple sangria. Thank you, Rachel. Now my wheels are turning.
But here's the ultimate question.
Okay. Applesauce, chunky or smooth? Ooh, I like them both. When I make it myself, I tend to go chunky. If I buy it, which is rare, Clearly, it's a smooth kind.
Chunky.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, someone asked, so what can you do? We saw recipes for pairing it with chicken. I saw a recipe the other day that I may try for Thanksgiving. They spatchcocked turkey. You should know what that is, where you cut out the backbone and you flatten it and you have this big bird. But they cooked it over a bed of apple stuffing, apple and herb stuffing, because the apples permeated into the turkey and it sounded really good.
That's ironic. Look at this one.
Okay, my dad would put apples in the turkey cavity when roasting it. Sure, that makes perfect sense. It would add a wonderful, probably not sweetness, but like a background flavor of that, maybe sweetness, but you get that appley flavor. And of course, how many people like to throw applewood smoked bacon, right? Or put applewood in their fireplace. I work in a concession stand that sells apple fries, apple slices, deep fried, and dusted with cinnamon sugar. That sounds deliciously decadent. And don't ask me to say that again. Wow, yeah. But see, there you go. There's just in this little chat, all these ideas are coming up. Yeah. So desserts, of course, there's apple cake, Jewish apple cake, delicious. And of course, apple pie. I might happen to have, oh look, I do. I have an apple pie. I should take the wrapper off and show it to them, or is this
Sure,
fine?
we can cut it. Came from the Amish market.
Yes,
so
this came from an
wood.
Amish market. It got a little smushed yesterday on the car ride home. But this is from our local Amish market.
We have an amazing Amish market here.
We do, and I wish I had had more time yesterday because I know there's certain things I need to buy, Lance and Ken, I know. I will. But yeah, I would have liked to have gotten some meats and stuff there next time. Apple pancakes, sure, why not? Or apple muffins, apple donuts, apple fritters. I love apple fritters. Speaking of desserts, I have something in the oven. Oh, they're here. That also came from said Amish market. Remember, there was a Disney movie series, and it was called something like The Adventures of the Apple Dumpling Gang. You probably remember. I think it was Tim Conway and Harvey Korman. I have some apple dumplings here. Ooh, let me get these out. Here we go. I don't know how warm this is. Yeah, that needs the... Hopefully these warmed through. They were in there for a good long time. Would you like to try one of these, dear?
I know how I can taste test it, just saying.
So these, again, are from our local Amish market. I have never had one.
There's an awful lot of sauce there.
I know, but that's where they all come. But we're going to try it. Let me get us some plates.
All right, well, I know we just made ward-off salad, but we have a question. How do you feel about it?
I love it. I love it. And unfortunately, it's one of those things that's fallen out of favor. You know, something that our moms made in the 70s and 80s, and then we just don't do it anymore. All right. How am I going to get these out? Let's try this. Ooh. There's one. They smell good.
And two.
I think it could be probably a little warmer, but that's okay. Wow. And then we'll try some of the sauce.
Interesting.
What? What happened?
I had some messages over in YouTube that are not making it into my...
Do a little drizzle.
That's interesting.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to have to actually read them off. We're
Another little drizzle.
So Lance says apple and stir fry.
Okay, like a chicken stir fry or a pork stir fry,
Yeah,
sure.
and Tim says bourbon triple sec and apple cider is very tasty. Yes, we did a episode on that.
I have a recipe, and I made it once for Phil 100 years ago, and he didn't like it today. And then when we were looking at recipes, he discovered one online, and I wanted to kill him. 23 years. For curried lamb that uses apples. It's delicious. I'm going to give you a steak knife, dear. Just, I don't know.
Okay. Don't know what's happened to my little program here. It's having a bad day.
All right. I'm going to deliver this.
All right. Well, Hank says I spent
Excuse me. Okay, I'll listen.
When I spent 5 weeks in Eastern Europe several years ago, I had a great Hungarian apple soup with potatoes, shrimp, crab meat, and some spices served warm.
That sounds wonderful. I was looking at some of my soup cookbooks, and I have like 3 recipes for apple soups, different versions of apple soups. All right, let's cut into this, see what we get.
Hold please.
Oh, let me turn that so you can see.
There we go.
Can you put that, zoom in on this? Look at that. It's kind of like an apple pie inside. Wow. I thought it might be just like dough wrapped around an apple, but
Very flaky.
OMG. Wow. I'm sad that we didn't try these earlier.
Ooh, it's not sweet.
All these years. I know.
Oh, wait a minute. No, I broke mine open.
And there's goo in the center.
Come get mine because you can show this off really well. Oh, there, it finally caught up. There, now you can see it because I pulled it away. See the apple.
Because he has to dissect stuff. So it's
baked it around the apple.
Well, no, I think it's chopped up apple that just came together, but it looks like there's cinnamon and brown sugar and stuff in the center. Because mine was all gooey in the center. Wow, this is delicious.
All right, so it looks like Facebook messages YouTube messages
Caught up?
caught up. Yeah, something happened there.
Well, what would Lctv be live? What would that be without a little glitch
Hey, and
here
at least
and there?
it wasn't me not pushing the wrong buttons.
Right? I know. Wow. I may have to start playing with this. Yeah. Definitely. Let's get this out of the way.
So it's not super sweet. It's interesting.
It's not. It's very cinnamony.
And I don't think it's a Granny Smith because it doesn't have that sharp bite.
Right.
Speaking
And
of
it's
that,
softer. All the pie recipes call for Granny Smith apples, but they're too bitter for me. Well, yeah, and Granny Smith are used in pies because they hold their shape, and they are a more sour apple. They aren't as sweet. They're more tart, I should say, compared to like Red Delicious or Golden Delicious. And those type of apples a lot of times tend to disintegrate or get very soft. So maybe it's Red Delicious or something similar used in this. I don't know. I'll have to look up some recipes for apple dumplings. Should I keep my apples in the fridge? I do. Yeah. Wash them well.
they taste so much better.
I didn't always. And then when I met him, he said, "Why don't you keep your apples in the fridge?" Oh, just don't. What I do like about it though is it keeps the fruit flies away. And it's a great snack, that cold, crisp, crunchy apple.
Okay, this is kind of funny because I can commiserate with this one.
Okay. I have dentures and I miss eating apples. Well, dear, you do eat apples.
I do. So I have dentures. I have a top denture. I have all my bottom teeth. I actually eat apples. For those who don't understand the misery of people with dentures and apples is no matter how much adhesive you have, if you bite into an apple with your 2 front teeth, it will flip it forward and it will go flying. The trick, if you have real bottom teeth, like I do, you chew on the side from the bottom. And so you eat the apple this way rather than this way. And it works.
But even without that, a lot of times you cut your apples up anyway and eat,
Yeah, I cut them
like
up.
Just the pieces.
All right, Hank says this looks like an item.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to have to PD-fy it, though. I'm going to have to
We're going to have to buy
LCTV
a
it.
couple more of these and dissect them.
Yeah,
Oh, guess what? They're open tomorrow. Oh, no, they're not.
they're not. And today is Sunday, so they're not until Thursday.
Oh, we got to go
I guess
visit.
Kevin's not watching because he would be saying, breakfast again next Saturday? except you will be up at camp, closing down the last final things. Anyway, another little apple, and I'm glad I went back to my notes. Talking about cooking with apples, I was looking through a lot of my recipes and things. I had forgotten about my mother's curried lamb until Phil mentioned it, and that's going to be coming up too. I need to make that. But anyway, I was going through her little recipe box, and I found like, apple crisp, apple brown Betty, apple pandowdy recipe. And apple pandowdy I was going to make until I started reading the recipe. It's a little more than I could do today. But there was something I found, and it brought back a memory, and not a pleasant memory. In the 70s, late 70s, someone gave my mother, I think it was like my father's boss's wife, sent something. They lived in the same town as us. And she was always sending my mother recipes and things. And my mom would go, okay, I'll try it. She sent a recipe for applesauce meatloaf. I didn't read what was in it. I think it was actually made of ground beef, but it used applesauce like instead of eggs or something. And I vaguely remembered it. It brought back a whole lot of, I know my sister loved it. And I just remember it being sweet and appley, and it wasn't a bad taste, but not what I expected for meatloaf. And I thought, well, why would you use applesauce? I know a lot of people use applesauce in place of oils or in place of sugars to try and cut down calories, but come on, meatloaf, not so much.
I don't understand this one.
Ken is asking why the oven under the counter. You mean why isn't the oven down here? Why it's up on the counter? Because we're in the basement and we only have one way in or out, and we don't have enough ventilation to have a proper range down here. So this is the best I can do. And this is a brilliant oven. I love it. I wish I could have a proper range, but not back here, because then I'd have to constantly turn my back. What's the difference between apple cider and apple juice? Oh, that's a good question. So this is apple cider. I think apple juice is filtered more and it has more sweeteners. This has, bits of apple in it. It's not quite as filtered. I think apple juice is processed more. Does that sound right, dear?
Let's ask Mr. Google.
Oh, there you go. Hold that thought. We'll find out. That's a good question. I know we've done a couple different martini recipes that used apples, and one of them we used apple juice, and then the next time we did one we used apple cider, and the apple cider one was, in my opinion, better. I think cider has...
Yeah, that's the only difference. The apple cider, the pressed apple, is unfiltered and unpasteurized, unlike apple juice, which is 4 times filtered and then pasteurized.
Right, so more processing. Not necessarily a bad thing, but I do love apple cider, and I love this time of year. And of course, I shouldn't drink too much apple cider or eat too many apples at once, but I do, and I love it. So this probably will not survive the next couple days, and well, I just won't test in the mornings, but a lot of times I will use this as a braise for things too, or in a splash of gravy. When I was 7, I lost a tooth eating an apple. Ugh. I hated losing teeth as a kid. That stinks, Gary. Wow. But now I wonder, do you still eat apples, or do you cut them up, or like, did that traumatize you?
Actually, I've heard of this. I've not actually had it, but I have heard of this.
Apple grilled cheese sandwiches bring back fond memories of my youth. Oh yeah, and apples and cheese, another classic combination. Even having cheese with apple pie, yeah, I have heard of that. That was a big thing, I think, like in the 80s. I remember seeing that, because then they would throw in like sprouts and stuff like that too. But yeah, a nice sharp cheddar and then the sweetness of the apple, good stuff. And then combine it all together in a grilled sandwich. Why not? There's a restaurant by me that serves apple butter with their breads. Wow.
Bourbon apple butter.
Okay, I misread that.
We need to find out where this restaurant is.
Well, I have some apple butter here. Yes, it's the crappy store brand. I know, this was all I could get. It's not terrible. It's not as good as Tim Stringer's, but it's not terrible.
Well, we'll profess that when he sends us a sample. Just
Or the
saying.
recipe, and then I can steal it and make LCTV. Yeah. I'm just going to keep my mouth
So
shut.
this is funny.
What? I loved apple martinis in college in the 80s. How about bringing it into the 21st century? Well, Tony, I am working on that. We all loved those sour apple martinis, and they're silly fun still, but way too sweet now, even though it's apple pucker and it's sour. This one that I made today is almost there. I made one that had cinnamon in it, and it's not Fireball. I really liked it. Phil did not, but I think I need to balance it out a little more.
Well, I don't like Goldschlager.
Wow, just give away all of our secrets. Our social security numbers are, our bank account numbers are.
And we see we have Joe Brennan in on Facebook Live, so
Yeah.
I would assume he wouldn't mind a little Fireball in this.
I think we tried a Fireball. Well, maybe. We don't have any in the house right now, do we? And
No, but I'm
Someone
sure
drank
when
it all at camp,
the
so we didn't
Halloween
bring
party
it home.
comes around, we'll have a
yeah,
ton.
we will. Well, we could also buy a small bottle and try it ourselves, but I don't know.
All right, we're coming to that time, so let's talk
Yep.
about what's coming up. What are we working
What is
on?
coming up next for LCTV? I got some surprises from my husband. He doesn't know about this. So, we just filmed a beautiful pork and mushroom episode. It's a pork chops with this mushroom sauce. Now, you probably thought I was going to say pork with apples. I did do a version of it with an apple bourbons, which was wonderful, and it's flames and it's dramatic. But I went with mushrooms instead. Pork and mushrooms, wonderful match. It's savory, but it's not a creamy mushroom. A lot of people think, oh, it's creamy mushroom soup, but it's a little different. I am working on these apple bourbon cocktails, and that will probably be out, if not next Friday, the Friday after. We are, it's been kind of tough for us lately because we just were rushing to close down camp, and so we've been kind of lax on getting our Friday episodes, but we'll get back on track with them. I am also working on a new version of the Waldorf salad, which does not involve Jell-O, not yet anyway. So we have that coming up.
All right, and Don Ross in Facebook chat says, Fireball and warm apple cider.
Okay, maybe.
I think we have to
One way to
get
try it-
we have
try
to
it.
get Don Ross and Joe Brennan together for that one.
Yeah. I can see them out on the deck, around the fire pit. Yeah.
Well, no, camping, of course, around a fire.
But we don't have a camper anymore, so yeah. So what else? We have a live stream coming up again in 2 weeks, which could be a little fluid. We may change it. Phil's having a surgery coming up, so that's the Sunday right after his surgery to end his back problems. So hopefully that will fix all that. But we may have to push it up or back a week. We'll figure that out. Anyway, whatever when we do it, it's going to be about. It's going to be all about Halloween, the traditions, the history, again, something that's in our culture, kind of like apples. And I'm going to be cooking up a lot of my favorite Halloween treats and dishes that I've done at my own parties over the years. Things like little mini coffins, that is a little mini meatloaf that's stuffed with stuff that makes it look like blood and guts and a rotting corpse inside. Do you remember the year we did the rotting brains spilling out? That was gnocchi with pesto. It was delicious. Do you remember that?
No.
Useless. Completely useless. I have pictures, dear. It's fine. So we're doing things like that and talking about the traditions, how people have parties, maybe have a little debate on trick-or-treat versus trunk-and-treat. So that's a lot that's coming up for us. And, keep sending us ideas, guys. If there's something you want to see, or you have a recipe or a question, info@letscelebrate.tv. You got that to put up? There it is. So yeah, send us those questions. Send us, and even on Facebook, if you're not on Facebook or other social media, but send it to that address. Go to our website or just send it right to that email address. And you can say like, hey, I want to see pork chops with peanut butter. What can you do?
And again, most of our Facebook comments that are not live are ones that are in comments in our Facebook group, or people send us private messages. And then we stack them up and pre-type them in.
Yeah.
So that's why you're seeing them, even though the Facebook chat isn't live until this week.
Right. Yeah, we get a lot of private instant messages or private messages, whatever they are on
Direct
Facebook.
messages.
Yeah, whatever they are. People send us stuff, so.
Oh, okay. Again,
What?
YouTube is being stupid. It's taking a while to come through. But Hank is asking, is there an update on MasterChef?
We have not heard anything yet. I'm guessing that it's getting close, that they probably didn't choose me, but Phil's surgery is October 4th, so even if they call tomorrow and say, yes, we want you, I'm going to have to step back and say, I can't do it. We don't know, his recovery time, what is it, 3 to 6 weeks? Mm-hmm. So he'll be home the same day, and he can start driving after probably 5 days, but we don't know what shape he'll be in. So that's going to affect a lot of things, and certainly I'm not going to be on the other side of the country when my husband is recovering from surgery. But the fact that they haven't called me back since the last time, and it's over a month now, I'm thinking they just decided not to use me this time, and that's fine. I really am fine with that. It's wonderful just to be asked, just to have caught their attention.
Well, and now you're on their list.
Right.
So the next time they may do it, or those producers all share information with other producers and say, hey, we didn't use this guy, but he might work on your show.
Right. Or check out his channel. What can you do with him? So it's still exciting, but that's where we are with that. And I really am okay with it. All right. Is it 4:30? Oh, it's 4:27 by my watch, and that clock says 4:30.
So you can stall for 3 minutes?
What are you gonna
do? A song and dance?
A soft shoe. I could eat some apple butter. Yes, so Halloween is next. Now you see behind me a few little things have started coming out, and probably for the next live stream this will all be decorated.
And we just filmed the invitation yesterday.
Yes. For those of you in the know, the Halloween party this year has a video invitation. And don't say another word and give away the farm, Philip, or I will put you in the hospital myself.
Word. I haven't edited it yet anyway.
I know, but you can't keep a secret either. But we had great fun filming that this morning. Drinking alcohol at, 9:45 this morning.
Lance
The
says,
things I do. Lance says what?
Lance says Cortland are great apple pies.
Cortland apples? Is that a breed of apple?
I guess so.
Yeah, I think I've heard of them now that I think about it. Yeah, they probably would make a good apple pie. Or is that a bakery or something, Lance?
I think it's Cortland apples.
I don't have my phone handy to Google it. Oh, yes, I do. That's okay.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's happening today with YouTube. They're
yeah.
showing up in YouTube's studio, but they're not coming across to my software.
Yeah. Now, there is a diner in Pennsylvania near our campground called Bingham's, and they make the most amazing pies. They are known for their pies and breads.
Not cheap.
Not cheap, but worth it. So yesterday, Phil and Kevin were supposed to drive up for the day and do the last few bits and bobs to close our campsite for the season. Blow out the water lines in the trailer, put little bits and bobs away, that type of thing, put the cover on the camper. But it was horrible rain here and horrible rain up there, so we had to cancel it. And the shame was they were supposed to stop on their way home yesterday and get one of these apple pies from this diner bakery place. And they're just piled high. They're amazing.
They're $35 too.
But worth it. Worth every penny, dear.
Yep.
You have to admit. All right, I think we're about at that time now.
Yep.
So shall we wrap this up?
We can. Let me get to my menu so I can hit all the right buttons. Oops, wait a minute. Let's get us both up here.
There we go. All right, well, thank you all for joining us for this live stream and me prattling on all about apples. We love that you join us and
Did we decide what the next live stream is?
do you see what I have to live with? Do you see this?
Oh, Halloween. Yeah, oops.
Honey, the house is on fire. Yeah. But he says, I listen to you. All right, I'm going to go beat him up. So while I do that, thank you for joining us. We'll hang out and chat for a few more minutes.